Hello, welcome to another episode of This, That, and the Other. And I don't often express opinion, but I'm going to again. And one of the things that has come to mind lately is why do, I don't know, maybe this is just my opinion, but why do a majority of the backup quarterbacks in the NFL that I have seen or read about suck? Why do they play such terrible? The teams fall into a losing record when their starter is injured. Even with the talent, why can't these backup quarterbacks pick up the pace and get the job done? And Cooper Rush comes to mind. I thought when the Ravens acquired him, they've got a capable backup in case Lamar Jackson gets hurt, which has happened. And I remember him playing for the Cowboys, and I was just looking at his numbers, and he had some pretty good numbers. 2024, he threw 12 touchdowns against 5 interceptions. That was a backup role with the Cowboys. The Ravens, he has not thrown one touchdown. He's thrown 4 interceptions. He threw 3 interceptions against the Texans and 1 interception against the Rams. Now, what is going on with these backup quarterbacks, especially with all the talent that surrounds them? Why can't they pick up the pace and get the job done? What can be done to as a whole to improve that situation? Do the NFL teams need to maybe give their backup quarterbacks more playing time to get experience? I don't know. Experience with the players, with the first string unit. I don't know. I know I've kind of stopped watching a lot of the NFL games in the past couple of years for various reasons I'm not going to go into, but I remember most in games. Usually, if you got into the fourth quarter, you've got about a 3 touchdown lead. A lot of times, the teams would put the backup quarterbacks in, let them play to keep their starter from getting injured. I know in recent years a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter has not always been a sure thing for a win. I've seen other teams come back from being down by 21 points in games. If I'm not mistaken, I think there was a Monday night game in Tampa one year where I believe Tampa was ahead of the Colts by 21 points. That was when the Colts had Peyton Manning. I believe he led the Colts to a win, if I'm not mistaken. That's kind of what I seem to remember. I would have to go back and look that one up. I don't remember what year that was, but I'm just like thinking, you got the Cincinnati Bengals. They lost their quarterback's out for a few months, and backup's not been able to get the job done on that team. They brought journeyman Joe Flacco in. He's got the experience, but he doesn't seem to be getting the job done either. He didn't with Cleveland. They traded him to Cincinnati, and they didn't get a win from him this week. So I'm kind of like wondering, what is with these backup quarterbacks? Are these just players they're bringing in? They're just not good enough to be in the NFL in the first place. Bringing them in the assumption that their starter is not going to get injured, and they're just going to be bench warmers and maybe cheaper labor. I don't know. I don't know at this point why the backup quarterbacks are not doing a good job. I remember back when teams used to have really good backup quarterbacks, back when like the Colts had Earl Morrall, Miami Dolphins as well, that could get the job done. You had the Redskins years ago, and they had Billy Kilmer, Joe Theismann. Both could back the other one up and get the job done. And they're been other teams. You get like when Neil Lomax started, he definitely had a good insurance with Jim Hart to back him up. Sometimes teams are afraid to make Neil Lomax look too bad because they're afraid they're going to put Hart in, and Hart might throw that winning touchdown in the last minute. So I just don't know. I don't know what it is about the backup quarterbacks. Why they seem to suck from what I've seen. Of course, that's just my opinion, but it's just what I've noticed. And it's especially with being a Ravens fan over the years. It's been a disappointment. I would have really thought Cooper Rush could have, with the talent surrounded by him, I would have thought he could have, picked up the pace and moved the team, but apparently it's not happening. I understand. I believe the Ravens are on a bye this week, and then I believe Lamar Jackson will be back. That's good. I don't think they got a season. This season's really going to be salvageable at this point. But hopefully, if that's the case, they can get up higher in the draft and get some capable players to get this team rebuilt. Defense definitely needs a lot of rebuilding, and hopefully they'll bring the right players in. I don't know if it's time for maybe a house cleaning, getting the coaching staff out of there, and also the GM. Maybe it's time for both of them to go as well, and just start out fresh. I don't know. I think Lamar Jackson's a good quarterback. I think he works very hard trying to win. I hope he finally gets that Super Bowl win one year. And yeah, like I said, it's just my opinion, and shows mainly about preserving history, especially obscure aspects of history. Looking for ideas. If it's feasible, I will research it and base a show on it. That being said, like, subscribe, share. As always, thanks for watching.